The silence before the lights cameras were already flashing. The crowd was roaring. The red carpet shimmered under the bright lights. People screamed names, some out of admiration, others just to feel noticed. It was chaos in its most glamorous form, and in the middle of it stood Ana de Armas, frozen. She had dreamt of this moment, rehearsed it, imagined her smile, her pose, the way she'd wave, even what she would say if a reporter asked about the film. But in that exact moment, surrounded by the dazzling noise of fame, and Judgmentana's body simply locked. Her breath got stuck. In her throat, her hands refused to move. And her heels suddenly felt like anchors. A voice behind her whispered gently, "Take your time." It was Keanu Reeves. He wasn't supposed to be right next to her. They were meant to walk separately, meet later on stage, say a few lines together, wave to the fans and leave. But something in his gaze had caught her stillness. When, unlike everyone else racing for the spotlight, Keanu stopped. And then, without a word, without drama, he stepped back. Not away, not dismissively, but with purpose. He took one step back and turned his body slightly sideways. The lights, the lenses, the pressure, it all fell on her. But not in a harsh way. It was like he handed her the room. He gave her the choice. And in that strange moment of pause, Ana blinked. Reporters were already murmuring. Photographers were whispering, wondering what had just happened. Had she forgotten her lines? Was she sick? Was this some publicity stunt? But Keanu said nothing. He simply placed a soft hand behind her, not pushing, not guiding. Just present, Ana looked out at the crowd. She had felt small so many times before. She had felt invisible when she started in this business. Had to prove herself again and again just to get a second audition. And even now, with nominations and headlines under her name, she still heard the whispers. She's not enough. She's just lucky. She can't lead a scene. But that night, standing still while the world watched, Ana realized something. Someone believed she could lead. She took one slow breath. Her lips parted, and with a fragile voice that steadied by the second, she spoke ... "I'm Ana. I just want to say thank you for being here." The crowd quieted. A few claps came, and slowly a hush fell over the noise. Ana kept going. "This movie means a lot to me. It's not just a story, it's something personal. I want to honor that by speaking from the heart, even if my voice shakes." The moment was quiet, intimative, with hundreds watching. And Keanu? He stood silently to her side, smiling with a warmth that didn't seek attention. That one moment wasn't just about a premiere. It was about something deeper. It was about space, about knowing when to stand in the light and when to step back, so someone else could shine. The premiere continued, of course. Interviews rolled, cameras kept flashing, and the movie played. But something shifted after that night. People started talking not about who wore what, or which reporter asked the most dramatic question, but about that moment, the quiet one. The respectful one. The one where Ana stood tall, because someone chose to not take the spotlight, but behind the scenes. After the red carpet and the after-party, Ana sat quietly on the steps of the venue. Her dress was slightly wrinkled, her heels off. Her face tired, but she was smiling. Keanu walked up, holding 2 mugs of tea. "You did good," he said softly. Ana looked up. "I almost ran." I know, he nodded. "But you didn't." She took the tea, holding it close. "Why did you step back?" she asked after a pause. Keanu looked out at the night sky. Because sometimes the kindest thing a person can do is just not get in the way. Ana blinked. That hit deeper than she expected, she whispered. "I don't think anyone's ever done that for me before." Keanu shrugged, still gentle. "Maybe it's time they did." They sat in silence after that. No cameras, no claps, no lights. Just 2 people, one learning to stand, the other showing her how. And neither of them knew that this one moment, quiet and simple, would soon travel far beyond the carpet, the theater, and the industry. It would become something bigger, something real. But that would come later. For now, Ana just held her tea, smiled at the stars, and whispered, "Thank you, not." just to Keanu but to herself for not running. Behind the curtain after the premiere, everything changed, but not in the way Anna expected. Yes, there were articles. Some kind, some cruel. One headline read, "Anna finds her voice at the premiere." Another asked, "Was Keanu's move planned?" For Anna, none of it felt real. The words printed in bold never captured what happened inside her that night, because what shifted wasn't about attention. It was about presence. The next morning, Anna woke up to a message from her mother in Cuba. It was simple. "I saw you," I cried. "I'm proud of you." She sat on the edge of her hotel bed, staring at the phone. Those few words melted something in her chest. It wasn't the public that mattered, it was that someone back home had watched. And understood. Later that day, she met Keanu at a quiet cafe, tucked away from flashing cameras and noisy fans. He was already there, sitting by the window, wearing a soft gray hoodie and sipping coffee like he wasn't one of the most recognizable faces in the world. Anna slid into the seat across from him, pulling her oversized coat tighter, I think. "I'm still shaking," she said with a nervous laugh. Keanu looked at her calmly. "Good. It means it mattered." That made her pause. She tilted her head. "How do you stay so steady?" He smiled a little. "I don't. I just breathe slower." They sat in silence for a moment. Not the awkward kind. It's the comfortable, quiet kind that makes you feel seen. Then Keanu leaned forward slightly. "Do you remember your first audition?" Anna blinked. "Which one?" "At the one where you walked out halfway through." She froze. "You remember that?" "You were sitting on a bench outside, holding your shoes in your hand," he added. Anna lowered her gaze. "I thought I had failed. I didn't think anyone noticed me." "I did," Keanu said softly. "You looked like someone who needed just one person to say, 'Stay.'" Anna swallowed hard. She had forgotten that moment. Or maybe she tried to. "I didn't think you remembered me from back then," she said. "People remember how others made them feel," Keanu replied. "You looked like you were carrying something heavy. I just didn't know what." Anna looked out the window. She had always carried something: expectations, self-doubt, guilt for leaving home, feeling of not being enough even when she gave everything. Hollywood made her shine, but it also made her shrink. That night, at the premiere, she began slowly. "I felt like a child again, like I didn't belong." Keanu nodded. "But when you stepped back," she said, "it felt like someone was finally saying, 'It's okay to take up space.'" He didn't respond right away, just let the words sit there. Then he said, "You didn't need me to speak for you. You just needed to know you were allowed to speak." Tears welled up in her eyes. Not because she was sad, but because she was finally being seen. It's not just admired. Later that day, Anna had to attend a press interview. Cameras, makeup, rehearsed answers. But something had shifted in her voice. She didn't rush. She didn't try to sound perfect. And when the reporter asked about her freeze moment on the red carpet, Anna didn't dodge. "I was overwhelmed," she said honestly. "But I had someone next to me who reminded me that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's just truth." The room went quiet. Even the interviewer didn't know how to respond at first. I hope Anna added that young girls watching know. It's okay to pause. It's okay to breathe. And you don't have to fight for every second of attention. Sometimes kindness will give it to you. Her words went viral within hours. Clips were shared, translated, subtitled in different languages. But none of that felt as important to Anna as the message she received that night from a girl in Brazil. "I watched you speak. I was going to quit my acting class because I thought I wasn't brave enough. Now I think I'll try again." Anna saved the message, reread it, cried a little, because now she understood. Her moment of silence didn't make her weak. It made space for others to be strong, and Keanu, well, he wasn't trying to be a hero. He was just being present. That, in the end, was the lesson. You don't always have to speak louder. Sometimes the most powerful thing is to step aside and let someone else rise. Whispers and wait days passed. The noise dimmed. After Anna's honest moment during the interview, the media storm grew. Some praised her for being vulnerable. Others accused her of using emotion to gain attention. And though she smiled through it started to wear on her. People online dissected every second of the red carpet moment. Some called Keanu's gesture chivalrous. Others said he stole the spotlight by stepping aside, twisting something simple into something strategic. Anna stopped checking social media every time she picked up her phone. Her chest tightened. The kind words blended into the harsh ones, and soon all she could hear were the doubts. Maybe they're right. Maybe it was too much. Maybe I should have stayed quiet. Keanu noticed the shift before she even said a word. They were back on set now, finishing a few final pickups for the film. The atmosphere was calm, but Anna moved differently, quieter, more careful. She was afraid to breathe too loud. During a break, Keanu approached her. "Walk with me?" he asked. She nodded, putting her coat over her shoulders. They walked through the quiet lot behind the studio, where the city sounds felt distant. "People talk," Keanu said gently, "especially when they're not listening." Anna gave a small smile. "You sound like a monk." He chuckled. "I've been called worse." They stopped near a row of trailers. Anna leaned against the wall, eyes lowered. "I don't know how to carry all of it," she said softly. Praise, the judgment, the pressure to be inspiring without showing cracks. Keanu stood beside her in silence. "What if I'm not strong enough for this?" she whispered. He turned to her, serious now. "Do you think strength means not breaking?" Anna looked at him. "Strength," he continued, "means breaking and still choosing to stand. Even if your legs shake." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. "I used to think I had to earn my place in this world," she said. "Prove that I belonged." "You don't," he replied. "You already do." Anna took a deep breath. The cold air stung, but it felt fresh. That evening, the studio hosted a private dinner for the cast and close friends. It was supposed to be relaxed, no press, no speeches, just good food and laughter. But as soon as Anna walked in, she felt the eyes. Not cold, not cruel, just curious. Everyone had seen the clips, read the articles. Even people she respected deeply now looked at her differently, not badly. Just with a strange mixture of admiration and distance, she felt like she was on a tightrope, performing kindness, grace, humility, all while balancing fear underneath. As the night went on, she stayed close to a corner table, talking softly with a few costume designers she had grown close to. Laughter came easier with them. They didn't treat her like a headline, but then something unexpected happened. A young actress approached her, someone new, barely 20, clearly nervous. "Hi," the girl said, almost trembling. "I'm sorry to bother you. Just wanted to say you helped me." Anna blinked. "Me?" The girl nodded quickly. "I watched your premiere video like 20 times.
And that interview."
I've always been scared to speak because my accent makes people laugh sometimes. But when you spoke, felt brave." Anna didn't know what to say. Her throat closed up again, but not from fear. From emotion, she reached out, held the girl's hand gently, and said, "You don't need to change your voice. The world just needs to listen better." The girl's eyes sparkled. "Thank you." After she walked away, Keanu approached with a quiet smile. "You just changed someone's life," he said. Anna gave a tired smile. "I didn't mean to." "You didn't have to," he said. "Sometimes truth doesn't need intention. It just needs honesty." As the evening ended, Anna sat alone under a patio heater, sipping warm tea. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like she had to perform. Keanu joined her again, sitting without a word. After a few minutes, Anna asked, "Why do you always know what to say?" He smiled. "Because I've spent years learning what not to say." They laughed, the sound soft but real. In that quiet moment, Anna realized something important. The world would always talk. The cameras would always spin. But the only voice she needed to trust, was her own. And it didn't have to be loud. It just had to be real. The voice that carried 2 weeks later, Anna stood in front of a mirror, not on a movie set, not backstage, but in a high school auditorium in Los Angeles. She wore a simple blue dress. No makeup team, no assistants. Behind her, Keanu leaned against the wall, arms crossed, quietly watching. The school had invited her for a local film and arts fundraiser. Originally, she planned to decline. The public still whispered. Some headlines had softened, but others kept spinning. Yet after everything, the community theaters, the quiet talks, the kids brave enough to stutter and still stand tall, she said yes. Because maybe this wasn't about being a celebrity. Maybe this was about being human. She looked herself in the mirror and took a breath. Okay, she whispered. Just be real. When she walked onto the stage, the room was packed with students, teachers, and parents. It wasn't a glamorous crowd. Some were checking their phones. Others didn't even recognize her. But one little girl in the front row looked up at her. Like she was watching the moon rise. Anna smiled softly. That was enough. The principal gave a short introduction and handed her the mic. Anna stood there. No podium, no cue cards. Just her, she began slowly. I used to think being strong meant always having the right words, always smiling, always pretending the nerves weren't there. Some students raised their eyes. But the truth is, I've been scared more times than I can count, especially in the beginning. And especially when I didn't know if my voice would even matter. She paused. Not because she forgot what to say, but because the moment mattered. A few weeks ago, something happened at a premiere. I froze. I couldn't move, couldn't talk. And for a moment, I wanted to disappear. The room was silent now. No phones. No whispers. But someone beside me stepped back. Not to leave me alone, but to show me that I could take up space. And for the first time, I believed that maybe my voice deserved to be heard. Anna's voice cracked slightly. That moment changed everything. She looked up straight into the audience, not because it was perfect, but because it was. Honest then, without planning it, she did something unexpected. She walked to the edge of the stage, crouched down, looked the little girl in the front row in the eyes. Your voice matters, Anna said gently. Don't let anyone tell you. It doesn't. The girl smiled wide, her eyes glassy. Her mom wiped tears quietly from the seat beside. Her daughter Anna stood and returned to center stage. We live in a world that rewards loudness, she continued, but sometimes the softest voices carry the deepest truths. The room erupted in applause, not polite applause, not forced, genuine. After the event, students lined up to meet her. They didn't ask for selfies or signatures. They asked for advice, shared their own stories. Some even cried. One boy said, I never thought someone famous could feel the way I do. Anna smiled. Fame doesn't protect you from fear. It just gives you more eyes watching when you face it. As the room cleared out, Keanu walked toward her. You did it, he said simply. Anna raised an eyebrow. Did what? You showed them that silence isn't emptiness. It's strength. She laughed softly. I think I was more nervous than I let on. Good, Keanu replied. Means it still matters. They stepped outside into the evening air. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden hue across the empty parking lot. Anna looked up. You know? She said, I think I've been trying to prove something for so long that I forgot who I was doing it for. And now, you're asked. She looked over at him, her eyes clear, steady. Now, I'm doing it for her, she said, nodding toward the little girl who had just walked out the front door with her mom. And for anyone who's ever felt too small to be heard, Keanu didn't say anything. He didn't need to. Anna had become more than an actress. More than a headline. She had become a mirror, one that helped others see the courage inside themselves. And this time she didn't need to be told to speak. This time she chose to. The light we leave behind a month later, Anna sat alone in her apartment, the evening soft around her. No cameras, no schedule. It's just the sound of the wind tapping gently on the windows. On the table before her was a box. Inside were handwritten letters. Dozens of them. Some came from young actors. Others from teachers. A few were from strangers who had simply seen her video online and felt something stir inside. One letter said, I was going to quit my job as a drama coach because I felt invisible. Your story reminded me that quiet voices matter too. Ah! Decided to stay and teach with more heart. Another read. I showed your premiere video to my daughter. She's 11. Mama, I don't have to be loud to be brave. Thank you. Anna wiped a tear from her cheek. Each word, each line felt heavier than trophies, more real than awards. She hadn't set out to become a symbol. She didn't want to be worshipped. She only wanted to feel like her voice had a place, that her silence had meaning, and now she knew it did. Not because she planned it, but because someone beside her made room for it. A soft knock pulled her from her thoughts. It is Keanu. He stood in the doorway with 2 bowls of soup and a lopsided smile. You forgot to eat again, didn't you? Anna laughed. Guilty. They sat together on the floor, eating quietly, surrounded by candles and old scripts. The city glowed outside the window, distant but calm. After a while, Anna spoke. Do you think it ever stops? She asked. The pressure, the voices, feeling like you have to carry everyone's hopes. Keanu thought for a long time before answering. No, he said. But you learn to carry it differently.
Oh.
You stop trying to hold it all alone. You start sharing it with people who understand, who don't want to take from. You just walk beside you. Anna stared into her soup, then slowly nodded. I've been thinking, she said. Maybe it's time to give something back. Something real. Keanu tilted his head. Like what? She looked at the letters again. A foundation. A place where kids who are afraid to speak can come. To learn, to create, to be heard. If their voice shakes, Keanu smiled. Not the big kind, the proud kind. What would you call it? He asked. She paused, then said the quiet room. He nodded slowly. I like that. It's where I found myself again, Anna said. The silence, in the space someone gave me. They clinked their spoons together like a toast. Quiet. Promise made without any noise. Over the next few months, Anna poured herself into the project. She met with educators, artists, counselors. She traveled to places no camera followed, libraries, shelters, youth centers, everywhere she went. She told her story, not the glamorous version, but the real one. The story of the girl who froze. The girl who wanted to run. The girl who finally spoke because someone made room. At the launch event for The Quiet Room, Yana stood on a modest stage in front of a crowd of children, parents, and supporters. The walls were painted with soft colors, the shelves filled with books, sketchpads, and stored, and in the front row sat a little girl with her hands folded nervously. Anna looked at her, saw herself. She didn't begin with a big speech, no rehearsed lines. Instead, she smiled and said gently, if you're scared to speak, that's okay. Take your time. We'll be right here listening. Applause wasn't loud. It wasn't meant to be. It was steady, heartfelt. And behind the curtain, Keanu stood, arms crossed, eyes soft. He didn't need the stage. He never did. His gift had never been about being seen. His gift was in seeing others, and because of him. A girl who once froze in fear now stood tall, not without fear, but with purpose. Later that night, as the building emptied and lights dimmed, Anna walked through the space slowly, touching the walls. Reading notes the kids had already posted. One said, I used my voice today. It felt scary, but good. Anna smiled through tears. She stepped outside into the cool night, where Keanu waited. Beside her, you did it, he said. No, she replied. We did. They stood in silence. No applause, no headlines. Just the hum of something real. Because sometimes the kindest thing a person can do is not to take the microphone, but to step aside and let someone else find the courage to speak. Whispers and wait days passed. The noise didn't. After Anna's honest moment during the interview, the media storm grew. Some praised her for being vulnerable. Others accused her of using emotion to gain attention. And though she smiled through it all, it started to wear on her. People online dissected every second of the red carpet moment. Some called Keanu's gesture chivalrous. Others said he stole the spotlight by stepping aside, twisting something simple into something strategic. Anna stopped checking social media. Every time she picked up her phone, Her chest tightened. The kind words blended into the harsh ones, and soon all she could hear were the doubts. Maybe they're right. Maybe it was too much. Maybe I should have stayed quiet. Keanu noticed the shift before she even said a word. They were back on set now, finishing a few final pickups. For the film, the atmosphere was calm, but Anna moved differently, quieter, more careful, like she was afraid to breathe too loud. During a break, Keanu approached her. "Walk with me?" he asked. She nodded, putting her coat over her shoulders. They walked through the quiet lot behind the studio, where the city sounds felt distant. "People talk," Keanu said gently, "especially when they're not listening." Anna gave a small smile. "You sound like a monk," he chuckled. "Been called worse." They stopped near a row of trailers. Anna leaned against the wall, eyes lowered. "I don't know how to carry all of it," she said softly. "The praise, ... the judgment. The pressure to be inspiring without showing cracks." Keanu stood beside her in silence. "What if I'm not strong enough for this?" she whispered. He turned to her, serious now. "Do you think strength means not breaking?" Anna looked at him. "Strength," he continued, "means breaking and still choosing to stand, even if your legs shake." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. "I used to think I had to earn my place in this world," she said. "Prove that I belonged." "You don't," he replied. "You already do." Anna took a deep breath. The cold air stung, but it felt fresh. That evening, the studio hosted a private dinner for the cast and close friends. It was supposed to be relaxed, no press, no speeches, just good food and laughter. But as soon as Anna walked in, she felt the eyes. It's not cold, not cruel, just ... curious. Everyone had seen the clips, read the articles. Even people she respected deeply now looked at her differently, not badly, just with a strange mixture of admiration and distance. She felt like she was on a tightrope, performing kindness, grace, humility, all while balancing fear underneath. As the night went on, she stayed close to a corner table, talking softly with a few costume designers she had grown close to. Laughter came easier with them. They didn't treat her like a headline. But then something unexpected happened. A young actress approached her, someone new, barely 20, clearly nervous. "Hi," the girl said, almost trembling. "I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say you helped me." Anna blinked. "Me?" The girl nodded quickly. "Watched your premiere video like 20 times. And that interview? I've always been scared to speak because my accent makes people laugh sometimes. But when you spoke ... I felt brave." Anna didn't know what to say. Her throat closed up again, but not from fear, from emotion. She reached out, held the girl's hand gently, and said, "You don't need to change your voice. The world just needs to listen better." The girl's eyes sparkled. "Thank you." After she walked away, Keanu approached with a quiet smile. "You just changed someone's life," he said. Anna gave a tired smile. "I didn't mean to." "Shh, you didn't have to," he said. "Sometimes truth doesn't need intention. It just needs honesty." As the evening ended, Anna sat alone under a patio heater, sipping warm tea. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like she had to perform. Keanu joined her again, sitting without a word. After a few minutes, Anna asked, "Why do you always know what to say?" He smiled. "Because I've spent years learning what not to say." They laughed, the sound soft but real. In that quiet moment, Anna realized something important. World would always talk. The cameras would always spin. But the only voice she needed to trust ... was her own. And it didn't have to be loud, just had to be real. End of part 3. Continue to part 4 when ready, you said. Now write part 4, CHATGPT said. Title. Anna froze at the premiere. Keanu stepped aside and let her speak. First part. 4. The storm in the center the next week was chaos. A major magazine released an editorial titled The Rise of Vulnerability, Performance or Power. It featured a full-page photo of Anna at the premiere, the moment she looked frozen, her eyes wide and unsure. The article questioned whether her red carpet silence was real or carefully staged. Anna didn't read it all. She only saw the first few paragraphs before closing her laptop and walking out onto her small hotel balcony. The city buzzed below, but her mind buzzed louder. Why did the world question softness? Why did honesty feel like a risk? Her heart pounded. She wasn't angry. She was exhausted. The noise wouldn't stop. And all she wanted was silence. Silence from fear, but silence filled with peace. That evening, she met Keanu at a community theater downtown. No paparazzi, no velvet ropes, just rows of folding chairs and kids rehearsing Shakespeare. I'd invited her without much explanation. Just come, he'd said. You'll understand. The play was raw. The kids stumbled through lines. Their costumes were made of cardboard and glue, but something about it felt pure. No pressure, no fear, just love for storytelling. After the show, Anna sat in the back row alone. Keanu returned with 2 paper cups of hot chocolate. This, he said, sitting beside her, is where I come when the world starts shouting too loud. Anna watched the children on stage hugging each other, beaming with pride, even though no one paid to see them. They weren't perfect, she said. Exactly, Keanu replied. She looked over. He looked up at the ceiling lights, because I remember why I started. It wasn't for applause. It was for connection, truth. The quiet moments between scenes. Anna closed her eyes for a second. I missed that. Then let's go find it, he said. And they did. For the next few days, Anna disappeared from the spotlight. No press, no interviews, no makeup chairs. She and Keanu traveled to small theaters, acting classes, spoken word nights, places where storytelling was still sacred, where silence wasn't awkward. It was part of the art. Anna began to breathe again. In one workshop, a young boy with a stutter stood to read a monologue. Halfway through, he froze. Anna watched the panic rise in his eyes, the way he tried to smile through it, to hide the tremble in his fingers. So she stood too. She walked to the front, faced the boy, and said softly, "Take your time." The room went still. The boy blinked, nodded, and began again slower, softer, but stronger. When he finished, the room erupted in gentle applause. Not thunderous, but full of warmth. He looked at Anna with tearful gratitude. "You didn't need to save me," he whispered. She smiled. "I wasn't saving you, just standing with you." Later that night, Anna and Keanu sat in the back of an empty rehearsal room. The smell of old curtains and dust filled the air. "You're different," Keanu said quietly. "How?" Anna asked. "You're not afraid to be seen anymore?" Anna thought for a long moment before answering. "I think I stopped trying to be perfect." Keanu nodded. "That's when people finally see the real you." There was silence again, but it wasn't hollow. Anna pulled her knees to her chest, resting her chin on them. "I always thought people would love me more if I looked confident all the time." "But now?" Keanu asked. She looked at him, her eyes steady. "Now I think they love me most when I'm honest, even if I shake." Keanu smiled, not with his mouth, but with his whole presence. "Good," he said, "because that's the you the world needs." And just like that, the noise outside faded. In its place was something better. Truth, and in that truth, Anna found her voice, not the one shaped by agents or red carpets or lighting angles, but the voice that belonged to the girl from Cuba who used to practice English lines by candlelight, the one who believed in stories, even when no one else believed in her.